Hi everyone, you're watching the Virtual Amicus and I'm Jay Lodha. Well, today's topic for discussion would be on life of a corporate lawyer. And joining us today on the Virtual Amicus is somebody who needs absolutely no formal introduction. She's a highly respected, distinguished corporate lawyer. She's a dual qualified lawyer and has been admitted as a solicitor in India with the Bombay Incorporated Law Society in 2008 and as a solicitor of the senior courts of England and Wales in 2011. Today we are in conversation with Ms. Kanika Atul Premnarayen, and she's a partner at Indian Law Partners based out of Mumbai. Just to give you all a brief introduction about her Micah's for today's session, she completed her law degree from the Government Law College, Mumbai in 2006 and has been enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa since July 2006. She's been awarded the very prestigious and coveted Business World 40 Under 40 Best Lawyers and Legal Influencers in India Award, which is a national award recognizing and celebrating the fortitude of the top legal minds and best talent under the age of 40 years in India who have shown unprecedented legal acumen, great leadership, achievement, and dedication in their young career spans, driving the Indian legal industry to higher echelons for the world to see and facilitating the main 40 to watch out for in the coming decades. She's also been enlisted in the Forbes Legal Power List as one of the top individual lawyers in India, recognized as one of India's top 50 future legal leaders by Law Asia's India Business Law Journal, Hong Kong, based on extensive research and independent nomination process. She has significant experience in corporate and commercial laws, focusing on mergers, acquisitions, inbound investment, joint ventures, and private equity investments, and exit across various sectors in India. She's also experienced in numerous real estate transactions and in commercial litigation and arbitration proceedings. Wow, what a fantastic introduction. Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for readily saying yes, for agreeing to do a session on my channel, The Virtual Amicus. Really a great honor to have you over. Anything that you wish to say about our channel before we proceed with your segment?
So thanks for that, Jay. I'm really excited to be part of your very enterprising and inspiring channel. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I'm really honored to be here. And I'm really excited to share a bit of my journey with all those watching. So, to begin, as the saying goes, if you choose a job that you love, you will never have to work a day in your life. I dreamt of being a lawyer ever since I was in grade 4. I was always driven to achieve and focused to excel in whatever I did. And at that point, standing up for what was right was something I really believed in. I charted out my legal roadmap right from grade 4. I decided that I would do my law in India. I studied at the Bombay Scottish School in Bombay. I went on to do, my arts at Xavier's and did the 5-year course at Government Law College. I wanted to do my law here and, be in Mumbai so I could practice along with law school. Though we had a lot of national law schools which were opening up when I was in college. I did my articleship. I worked for 3 years at Wadia Gandhi, and I got experience in real estate, litigation, and corporate law, along with law college. After that, I finished my solicitors in India and I moved on to do my solicitors in the UK, and I got enrolled and I'm dual qualified. I specialize in corporate law, focusing on inbound investment, joint ventures, private equity, mergers, acquisitions. Law as a profession, as we know, is extremely interesting, though very challenging. The law is constantly evolving, and being a corporate lawyer requires a lot of hard work, long hours, sleepless nights, and a lot of dedication to meet aggressive timelines and deliverables, while it's essential to maintain top quality at all points. As a young lawyer, we were always told that keep your eyes and ears open and keep your mouth shut. Learn to listen, observe, and absorb. At Wadia Gandhi and at Indian Law Partners, I've been mentoring and training young lawyers to ensure that they reach their potential. People often used to ask me, how is it like to be a woman lawyer in India? And I used to be very surprised at this question. While there's still so much to be achieved to get genuine equality in the profession, I believe we've made great progress. I have never really seen myself as being a female in the profession. I look at myself as being a lawyer who's worked very hard to achieve what I have. And I've never given any significance to gender or gender bias. as I truly believe that if you are dedicated, honest, and love what you do, you will succeed irrespective of your gender. Also, we have with the enactment of POSH, the opportunities of appointing women directors. These are all very positive steps for women empowerment today in India. Also, COVID was particularly transformational for the legal sector, not only in terms of technology, but also a needed change in the mindset of how traditional firms were operating, and which permitted a work-life balance for multiple lawyers. I think by just staying focused and being committed and working hard, it's been a very interesting and inspiring journey for me. And I would love to take you all through what I feel is the life of a corporate lawyer in today's age. So, what is corporate law? Corporate law looks at governing the formation, operation, and regulation of various businesses to ensure that they adhere to the legal framework in India. It facilitates complex business transactions while it safeguards stakeholder interest. It includes formation of companies, governance of companies, mergers, acquisitions, compliance, and securities regulation. You have to manage risk and liability exposure for your clients through effective corporate structures and different governance mechanisms. You also have to look at regulatory compliance with domestic and international law, including competition, labor, and environment standards. You have to address corporate social responsibility, which is CSR, and sustainability. You have to guide companies towards ethical business practices and encourage them to act responsibly towards the community. So there are different focus areas, which one could look at within corporate law. The foundational knowledge which every corporate lawyer must have would be within company law and corporate governance. That you need to know your contract and commercial laws, securities and capital markets, banking and finance, and IPR. The emerging specializations today are private equity, venture capital, competition, ESG regulations, environment, social governance regulations, AI, data privacy, and tech. There are practical skills which are essential for any corporate lawyer to have, which is strategic legal drafting and negotiation ability, participation in moot courts, and a lot of structured internships to give you real life practical experience. Your work could include client meetings, client consultations, drafting, reviewing agreements, conducting detailed due diligences, negotiating and resolving conflicts, ensuring favorable terms for clients, ensuring legal compliance by regulatory filings with all the authorities in India, including your ROC, with your MCA, with SEBI, conducting legal research and analysis on different potential risks in transactions, and also offering practical solutions for business operations. Where corporate lawyers today actually create value I feel, is private equity and venture capital. Private equity invests in established and mature companies which have a proven track record, while venture capital focuses more on early stage development. Lawyers advise in structuring complex investments. You can advise on term sheets, strategic exits like initial public offerings, and buyouts where an investor sells their stake. Another aspect is mergers and acquisitions, where an M&A deal involves the consolidation or transfer of ownership of companies or assets. Corporate lawyers here assist in structuring the deal. They do a due diligence, you do regulatory compliance, you draft agreements, and also assist with closing the transaction. Another focus area is corporate governance, which deals with how the board of directors function. They define the fiduciary duty and responsibility and obligations of the directors and helps to build a robust and strong internal control system with ethical oversight. A very interesting aspect is also securities law and initial public offerings. Here, you have to help a company comply with disclosure requirements and adhere to the regulatory frameworks which have been set up by SEBI when raising funds in the market or launching an IPO. Competition law has become fairly interesting. It ensures fair market practice, it prevents anti-competitive agreements, and it prevents abuse of market dominance. It involves regulatory reviews of mergers and acquisitions to prevent monopolies, tackles issues like price fixing and collusive behavior, and ensures consumer benefit from a healthy competition perspective. It protects both businesses and consumers by promoting efficiency, innovation, and transparent markets. Another aspect which is extremely important across corporate law, and you'll see it in most of the transactions, is employment law. You have to adhere to various statutory requirements, managing how employees transition, addressing employee contracts, the employee benefits like your gratuity provident fund, and ensuring fair treatment of all employees. Now, when you're structuring transactions, there are different agreements in corporate law which get executed depending on the structure of each transaction. You have a shareholders agreement, which is the agreement among the company and the shareholders, outlining their rights, responsibilities, and obligations towards each other and the company. It typically addresses issues like share transfers, that is, when one shareholder wants to transfer shares. How does the process work? How does the shareholder exercise his voting rights? How does the management operate? How do you have a say in the directorships, whether you can appoint a director? You have dispute resolution, and then you have exit strategies in case anyone wants to sell. You also have share purchase agreements, that is, an agreement between a buyer and seller of shares, which contains the detailed terms and conditions for the share sale. It covers aspects of the share price, the representations and warranties which the seller will be giving regarding the shares, that he has complete title to it, and the process on how the transfer of ownership from the buyer to seller will plan out. Like a share purchase, you'll also have a share subscription agreement where instead of purchasing shares from a shareholder, the investor agrees to purchase it directly from the company. It specifies terms again like price, the quantity of shares, the representation, warranties from the companies, thereby formalizing the investment relationship. You also have an investment agreement which shows the terms between the investor and a company, with the investment amounts, the rights to an investor, how the company will operate, and exit strategies. So it protects both the company as well as the investor. Apart from these key agreements, you also have royalty agreements, which set out the terms in which a licensor and a licensee agree to license any sort of trademark or intellectual property, and the licensee will pay a fee to the licensor for it. The agreement will cover the payment structure, duration, and the scope of the license. Joint venture agreements are legal documents that define partnerships between two or more parties on a specific business project or goal. It shows how the parties will share resources, how they will share risk and profit. It defines each party's roles, contributions, and responsibilities during the venture. And most important, we have our non-disclosure agreements before you enter any transaction. These agreements have confidential relationship between the entities and ensures that any sort of sensitive information is kept confidential, and a person who has access to this information protects it like it was its own information. So both parties have a duty not to share any such information. And for me, the most interesting part of any corporate transaction is the due diligence process. The due diligence is a thorough investigation or audit of a business or individual in a transaction. In case of a merger, acquisition, joint venture, investment. It helps to provide a comprehensive evaluation of the risk and the compliance before finalizing major transactions. So for an investor, it's very important to verify facts, assess risk, ensure that there are no hidden liabilities, and to make informed decisions based on accurate information which is being provided. So a diligence can cover various aspects. As lawyers, we cover a legal diligence, but there's also a financial due diligence, operational due diligence, and environment aspects which may be covered. It helps to protect the parties by uncovering issues before finalizing agreements. So in case there are issues, those can be resolved before documents are signed, before money is paid, or you protect the parties by providing some sort of an indemnity in case the issues cannot be resolved. Now, due diligence process is very exciting. You have structured checklists. You have to meticulously review the documents which are provided or uploaded. You identify critical red flags. You put concise reporting down, and you provide solutions to your client on how the client should deal with each issue. The financial due diligence will cover risks relating to financial misstatements or liabilities, which the accountants would review the financial statements in accordance with accounting practices and the financial health of a company. You also examine the key contracts like leases, supplier agreements, customer contracts, employee contracts to show that the terms are fair, enforceable, to see whether contracts are valid, whether they need to be renewed, any have expired, and assess the risk caused from termination or breaches of these contracts. You also do an overview of the litigation which is pending or threatened against the company, so you can assess the risk and advise your client accordingly. You see if there are any pending arbitrations or any regulatory proceedings before authorities, including the income tax authorities. You also review related party transactions. You scrutinize transactions with affiliates, executives, related entities to ensure that these transactions are all at an arm's length basis. So they comply with corporate governance standards to avoid any sort of conflict. One also now has started looking at environment issues to see compliance with environment permits, any sort of environmental liabilities, pending litigation to assess any exposure to environment penalties or future liabilities. What we've consistently seen of late is artificial intelligence and technology also reshaping the corporate legal practice in India. They boost efficiency, it's providing more accuracy, and it's helping in strategic decision making. The AI platforms streamline legal research by analyzing huge and massive legal data quickly, offering faster and more accurate insights through features like contextual search, analysis, and it enhances productivity. AI tools help to automate key clause extractions. They identify risk and contract organization, again boosting efficiency. AI-powered document analysis accelerates due diligence by identifying relevant information and helping risk management and transaction timelines. Modern legal tech ensures compliance with evolving data protection laws, helps firms regulate sensitive client data, and maintain trust in an increasingly digital environment. Having said that, there are challenges as well to AI. It's expensive to build, deploy, and maintain. So it's still difficult to adopt for smaller organizations. The automation may replace jobs, increasing economic inequality. And AI struggles with tasks requiring any sort of emotional intelligence, reasoning, and adaptability. And it's also because of the extensive data collection, it threatens privacy and security. So I think it has to be very carefully dealt with. Now, the corporate environment, as we all know with our recent news, is evolving rapidly. As the profession evolves, lawyers are facing increasing demands, regulatory complexities, and challenges while needing to stay competitive in a dynamic geopolitical and legal environment. The Bar Council of India has amended its rules to allow foreign law firms and lawyers to practice international law in India, though this is still being discussed. The amended regulations are designed to provide structured opportunities for foreign lawyers to practice foreign law, international legal matters, and arbitration matters concerning cross-border transactions and disputes. Foreign lawyers and law firms are prohibited from engaging in litigation, appearing before Indian courts, or practicing Indian law in any capacity. Through these amendments, the BCI seeks to protect the Indian legal profession and also promote India as a hub for international arbitration and provide Indian lawyers with structured avenues for international practice while protecting our Indian advocates. At the core of the newly established legal provisions is the principle of reciprocity. Under this framework, Indian advocates can register as foreign lawyers or foreign law firms, allowing them to provide consultancy services in foreign and international law, while allowing them to continue practice Indian law within domestic jurisdictions. In India, the legal profession is changing with the entry of foreign firms coming in. We've seen recent announcements on certain firms showing interest as well. This would mean more opportunities to learn and work with international firms and will also increase competition. So the legal profession is rapidly evolving with lawyers. This navigating of increasingly complex regulations, intensifying competition, and the growing need to prioritize personal and mental well-being as well. New age corporate lawyers are leveraging technology to enhance efficiency and collaboration, using video conferencing tools to communicate seamlessly with clients, adopting cloud-based management systems to streamline the sharing and review of documents, and also securing communication platforms to protect sensitive information. To stay relevant, corporate lawyers must specialize, build strong relationships with clients by differentiating themselves through personalized service and innovative solutions. Corporate lawyers must blend technical expertise with strong commercial and strategic acumen. You have to excel in clear communication and negotiation and be adaptable to new legal technology.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for this outstanding session. I must confess that we were treated to the finest exposition on corporate law, transactional law. Now, corporate law is something that is not taught. It's not never a part of our academic curriculums. So, thank you so much. You took out time and you shared not only your glorious journey and but also gave us valuable insights on corporate law. Now, there are a couple of quick questions. If you're ready to take them, provided you have the time. So,
Absolutely.
so question number one coming your way, ma'am. Suppose there is a law school X that organizes a placement program, and there are a couple of law firms that are coming on campus conducting recruitments, and for a position of a corporate lawyer. Now that we are well aware that it is not a part of the academic curriculum, no law school teaches you corporate law, the basics of it, the mergers, acquisitions. Nobody is aware of that till the fag end of the law school. So, what is that one thing that these law firms are looking for in the applicant? That the applicant needs to work on that skill set.
So for me, when I look at an application, I don't see how many internships an applicant has done. I see how long an intern has interned with a particular firm.
Okay.
Because for me, just interning just for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you don't learn that much. Vis-a-vis the experience we got where we worked for 3 years during law school with the same firm, we picked up hands-on experience in all aspects. So I look for someone who's worked with the firm for a longer period because I feel at that point you're entrusted with more work.
Yes.
You get a wider knowledge of different kinds of laws, like we did real estate, litigation, and corporate. You don't get that in short internships. Also, an important key to success is self-confidence. And you get self-confidence only if you're prepared. When I go through the applications and the interview process, I think it's very important for the applicants to basically leave a good first impression. A lot of these CVs are very well written, but when you ask them specific questions, they're not aware of what they've done during those internships, right? So when you're drafting your CVs, you have to ensure that the CV is concise and it's precise. The details of your education should be mentioned. Your marks should be mentioned. A lot of times we have to go back to the applicants because the marks are missing, right? Be prepared to elaborate during an interview on the contents of your application. A length of your CV is not important. It is not the quantity, it's the quality of how you present it and what you've done, which is important. Okay. Please look at the formatting of your CVs because that's the first thing. With spelling errors, the application is just not looked at all. Okay. When you're applying to a firm, my piece of advice is do a thorough research on what the firm does. The partner you're interviewing with, do research on that partner and on the areas and different practice areas what the firm is specializing in, right? Also, be very careful in your covering emails on how you address your application. Please see whether you're addressing it to a female or a male. Look at your salutations because these are things which we pick up before we take an application forward. During an interview, research on the work that you've done. Obviously, dress formally, speak with respect, and make sure that you have that extra edge in an interview which other applicants won't have. Okay. When you're starting off in the profession, I think you need to have a very positive attitude that you're here to learn. As freshers, you should be prepared to do any work that comes your way. We started off by photocopying, getting books from the library to, just putting case files together. This is how we started the profession. No job is too small for you. Be prepared to do whatever is assigned. And be prepared to work long hours. Okay, as a corporate lawyer, there are no shortcuts. And most important is that make sure you respect timelines and deliverables. Make sure that your partners get work on time. Okay. Uh, yeah. So I think this is my piece of advice for the young lawyers today. Be diligent, be serious about your work, respect the fact that someone is taking out that time to train you, and put in that effort which is expected of you.
Very well, ma'am. Thank you so much once again for this extraordinary session on life of a corporate lawyer. To all the viewers who are watching, our email is mentioned on the channel. In case if you've still got queries, feel free to write to us. We'll be more than happy to forward the same to our amicus for today's session. Anything that you wish to say, ma'am, as parting words before we wrap this segment up?
No, I think it just be determined, be focused, and the best is yet to be.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, it's goodbye for now.
Thank you.